Hello from the BBC in London. I'm Audrey Tinlin with Global View, a look at how the world's media have covered the inauguration of President Biden this week. Coming up after 4 years of battle with Donald Trump, how China's media is reflecting the end of his presidency. And in Latin America, the press paid closer attention than usual to the ceremony inaugurating a new US president. First, media in many countries around the world had special coverage on Wednesday dedicated to Donald Trump's final hours in office and the inauguration of Joe Biden. In Russia, state-backed channel Rossiya 1 focused on what it saw as the poor treatment of outgoing President Trump.
Едва ли так втаптывали, снова повторяю именно это выражение, в грязь.
The host of their special inauguration programme says, "I don't think they've dragged any other leader through the mud so much," adding that, for better or worse, he led the country for 4 years and was responsible for its nuclear arsenal. Also this week, in Iran, TV outlets were covering President Hassan Rouhani's bitter farewell to Donald Trump.
امروز هم در 99 شمسی یک مستبد دیگر.
A tyrant's era came to an end, and today is the final day of his ominous reign. Someone for whom all 4 years bore no fruit other than injustice and corruption and problems for his own people and the world.
Iran is calling on the US under President Biden to return to the 2015 nuclear deal which Donald Trump pulled out of. Kian Sharifi watches Iran's media for BBC Monitoring, which scans media and social media around the world. He says most moderate and reformist media outlets in Iran are rejoicing over President Trump leaving office.
But the mood is completely different when you look at hardline outlets. They've already started going after Biden. For months now, they've maintained that there is absolutely no difference between Biden and Trump. And now that Trump's gone, Biden is enemy number one. That's how they see it. You had, for example, the hardline outlet Javan, which is linked to the Islamic Revolution Guard Corps. They said now it's time for smart sanctions. All they see is more sanctions, just a prettier package.
Meanwhile, in China, our analyst says social media may miss the drama of the Trump administration, but the country is very excited about new US policy on climate change.
Back in November last year, it felt like everywhere was focused on the US election, but China more or less completely ignored it, and instead what it did was it focused on how the US had officially come out of the Paris Agreement. That's the deal that unites the world's nations in a single pact on tackling climate change. And because Joe Biden has made it a priority to rejoin the agreement as soon as he took office, that's been really well received in China. At the same time, many people in China love reading about Trump. And in fact, the national newspaper Global Times said that Trump was the most searched person on Sina Weibo last year. That's China's version of Facebook or Twitter.
Kerry Allen. And this week, Latin American media speculated about how immigration policy could change under President Biden. But Luis Fajardo from BBC Monitoring in Miami says they were also unusually interested in witnessing the peaceful transition of power in the United States.
This is a region of the world that has often seen itself lectured by the US on the shortcomings of its political system. And now with all the turmoil, there's been a great deal of emphasis in coverage in Latin America on stability, on the continuity of democracy in the US, something very, very unusual to see in coverage of a US election.
In London, I'm Audrey Tinlin for the BBC.